would like to talk about the so-called reflective system of the brain, which is important in addictive disorders, but also in chess playing. So which regions are targeted by chess as an intervention? I will talk about the neural effects of chess on the brain, but also on other positive effects of chess. We already heard a lot about this today. You have a lot of practical projects running, and you know that chess is very beneficial with a lot of applications, but I would like just to give you some evidence that there are also studies on this. Yeah, the reflective system of the brain is responsible for conscious thinking, planning, and decision making. The so-called higher cognitive functions are located in this system. With this system, we reflect on our behavior, we consider alternatives, and make then our informed decisions. And the neural substrate is the frontal lobe, especially the prefrontal cortex. You also already heard about this today by Cristobal's presentation, so this is somehow similar. You see these regions in blue, the reflective system. In the front, you see, for example, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Now, just some examples. As Cristobal also mentioned today, there are several brain networks involved in playing chess, also during different stages during a chess game. So, for example, in evaluating a decision, or just also to decision making. And the prefrontal cortex I already mentioned. This is really an important region which always pops up in the studies. So here, for example, in the condition checkmate judgment. Here is another study using functional imaging where the participants had the task to find the best move, and there are several regions involved. So, for example, occipital regions relevant for attention and visual processing, but also the prefrontal cortex was involved. This is a study where the anatomy of the brain was examined, and the results are surprising at first sight and also contradictory to Cristobal's findings. We found increased cortical thickness in chess experts. Here, the authors found reduced gray matter density and also reduced cortical thickness, so less neurons in chess players. The reasons can also be that a specific group of chess players was examined, so these were highly professional players. And the regions they found, these are also regions which are really relevant in chess. So in chess, you always process visual information and you recognize objects, and you also have to retrieve memory content. So the idea behind this, or the interpretation, is that chess experts have less cortical thickness, brain matter density, so their brains are more efficient, maybe. So no efficiency in expert chess players. Yeah, we already heard a lot about the positive effect. There are a lot of studies in children and also in seniors. I won't go through it in detail because we will learn about this also tomorrow. And the speaker after me, no, I have another slide for this. We have we see positive effects in school performance and also especially when it comes to math skills, and in older people also cognitive abilities improved. Yeah. This is an old study I did a long time ago. We examined female and male chess players, and interestingly, we found different patterns in males and females. So the males were more introverted when they were better players, and in women it was vice versa. So the extroverted women were the better players. And when we compare the chess players to the normal population, so that you have normal scores in such studies, then in males we did not find deviations from the normal population, but interestingly in females, we found that female chess players were more performance-oriented and had less health stories than the normal population, and they were more satisfied with life. And I find this very important because we see this in many studies. Yeah, I also heard this today in a talk about chess for protection, that also chess is beneficial for gaining life satisfaction. Yeah, so but why can we use chess as a tool against addiction? So I will start with an overview of the cognitive domains which are impaired in addiction. I will introduce the therapy of cognitive remediation, and I will try to explain why we could use chess as a cognitive remediation tool. Yeah, as you, it's obvious that drugs like alcohol or nicotine has bad effects on the brain, cognitive impairments, but this is a vicious circle because these cognitive impairments also lead to drug consumption because of less inhibition, for example, so more drugs are used. And now, if we have a cognitive enhancer, then we have to look at the same neural networks, the same brain networks involved, and maybe also the same functional domains, and then this could be a promising tool to break this vicious circle. Yeah, when it comes to addiction, there are a lot of studies showing that they have impairments in executive functioning, so these domains, problem solving, cognitive flexibility, working memory, etc., but also in other domains like attention and visual spatial abilities. And some of you are chess players, and you can think that these are especially the functional domains which are involved in chess playing. In mental health disorders, in several disorders, we have so-called dual system models. So the hypothesis is that there's an imbalance between the impulsive and the reflective system. You already know the reflective system. The impulsive system is associated with reward, and especially with immediate reward and impulsive behavior. And this is in several disorders, ADHD, as you also might know, but also in addictive disorders. When it comes to addiction, addicted patients have a hypersensitive impulsive system. They prefer the immediate reward by the drug and don't think about the long-term consequences because of problems in their reflective system. And how can we influence this imbalance therapeutically? So with chess or with cognitive remediation, we focus on enhancing cognitive control within the reflective system. So there are several names for this treatment: cognitive remediation therapy, or cognitive enhancement therapy, or just cognitive rehabilitation. It's, the goal is to improve cognitive function in the domains I already mentioned, and yeah, you have usually exercises to improve neuropsychological skills, and it's often computer-based. Cognitive remediation treatment is used since decades as an add-on treatment in several disorders, and in the last years also for substance use disorders. But how can we use chess as a cognitive remediation treatment? As also already mentioned, chess involves a lot of cognitive functions, and there are also studies on this. And as you also know, as a chess player, you have continuously to evaluate new situations, positions, and considering alternatives, making decisions, and yeah, so it was already used for therapy. So, for example, in schizophrenia, where there's also a lot of cognitive impairment, it was shown that it enhances cognition. It was used in offenders, and the most studies I think were done in children and especially in ADHD. But the next